But the South considers a lawsuit as being violent. Well, if that's violent, yes, I'm for it. But I'm not for not protecting myself. I am for protecting myself at all costs. If somebody to throw dynamite at it, I'm going to sit there and let them throw it if I can.
Do you think that President Eisenhower, Mr. Marshall, has done all that he can thus far to further the cause of integration? And what I mean is in practice as well as in speech, as well as in trying to create a restrained but favorable national attitude.
Well, I do not think that President Eisenhower has done anywhere near what he could have done. I wonder whether it's too late. I don't think it's too late. But I think the president should have shortly after the decisions, or at least by now, have gotten on a television network or radio and spoken as the chief executive of this government to the good people of the South, urging them to support the decision of the Supreme Court as the law of the land, whether they believed in it or not, and to use the full influence of his position as president to bring about peaceful solution of this problem. I think he was obliged to do that, and I think that his failure to do so does not help us at all, especially when we realize that as a result of the failure of the good forces to take over, we have allowed these other forces like the White Citizens Councils and the Klan to threaten and intimidate good people. Moral leadership should come from the top executive of the government. It's his responsibility, and he can't duck it.
Final question. Really, do you feel any sympathy for, any understanding of the Southerner, the white Southerner who was forced suddenly to change not only his attitude but his whole way of life?
I have as much sympathy as I could have for anybody. I recognize it is a tough problem. It's a problem that at times would seem to the average Southern white man as being insoluble. I recognize it, and I, for one, would do everything in my power, and so would the NACP, to work it out in a way that would be satisfactory to both sides concerned. And I can't be any more forthright than that, because that's the honest to goodness truth.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.